In this video, we're just going to review the basic configuration that you need to do to the Focal Point and CLM servers to enable the integration to happen between them. So we're going to go through this fairly quickly. There are articles available and help available. Just thought it might be easier to see it in a video. So here we are in the RTC administration / CCM admin for that server. And we're first going to add Focal Point as a consumer of RTC. So we'll give it a name. We'll enter a secret, like a password. Or we could click here to add a public key instead. And you'll make it trusted. You'll register Focal Point as a consumer, and you can see I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again. And then you would edit it and select a functional user from the list of users for RTC, and that user ID, that authentication, is what will be used whenever Focal Point does background things, so scheduled, rest view commands, XPath value fetcher, expressions, that type of thing. So you do need a functional user who has access to the RTC server in the project areas that you want. So you've done that on the RTC side. Now on the Focal Point side, you need to register RTC as an outbound friend. And you can see that I've already done that. You would add the friend, give it a name, so we used RTC, the URI, CCM root services, it's an OAuth authentication, and you would use the key and the secret that you created on the RTC side. Okay, so the same one. So that's their secret handshake. And then you test the connection to make sure it works, and I will just show you how you test the connection here. All right, so it's all good. So that's Focal Point using RTC as a consumer. So we also want it the other way around. RTC using Focal Point as a provider to see the rich hovers, for example, potentially even to create artifacts in Focal Point. So we'll go back to Team Concert. Now, I should say you could start again by defining an inbound consumer in Rational Focal Point, but you'll see it's actually done automatically for you. So we'll create an outbound friend in RTC. I already have one for Focal Point. Let's see what happens when I add another one. So Focal Point, and the root services URI is Focal Point / resources / root services. We'll use another OAuth secret here. I'm going to make it really simple. And again, it's trusted. We'll create a friend. That's okay. I wanted to show you what you would do next, but on the next page, you would just allow the access. You'd set provisional access. And then you'll go to Focal Point and look at the inbound consumers, right? Because now RTC is using Focal Point as a provider, and you should actually see an entry here already. It will automatically be generated, and if not, you can always do it manually by entering the consumer key and secret that you already have. And you can also specify a functional user ID if you wish. So that's for RTC. For Rational Doors Next Generation, it's the same deal, except that instead of using CCM admin, you'll use the /rm admin. And that's different. Previous versions of CLM, when it was Rational Requirements Composer, they used the /JTS admin. You can see that in my workspace because I haven't upgraded yet. But in CLM 5 and up with Rational Doors Next Generation, it's the /rm admin. You're going to go through exactly the same steps that we just did for RTC. Once you have your friends set up, you're going to configure your association link types. So these are the kinds of links that you're going to allow between your Focal Point workspaces and the CLM applications. And you need to define here all of the ones that you expect you will use in any workspace. Okay, this is the master list. And so it's very easy to add a link type. You give it a name, a URI, and a backlink URI, and a description. So let's look at one of the ones that we have. So you can see these are defined by OSLC. Okay, so that's their semantic. So you'll add the set of link types that are important to you. So as I said, that's the master list. When we go to the workspaces then, and open a workspace, you're going to configure your workspace as well based on those association. Okay, so you can see here we have added a link type and a container for each situation. Now this is for this workspace only, so each workspace is going to say what link types are allowed and to what project areas. Okay, so it could be different by workspace. So for example, let's see, here I'm going to add a link type. It's going to be to RTC. I can say what kind of link type I want. I'm going to point to the Friends catalog, which is almost always CM service providers or RM service providers. And I will get a list of the available RTC project areas that I can choose from. And I can add or save the link type for that particular artifact container, that particular project area. So I'll do that for all of the project areas in the RTC and the requirements servers that I'm going to use in this workspace. The next step then is to make sure that I have integration link attributes that will hold the relationship to an RTC artifact or a requirements artifact. So if I look at features, you can see that I have two integration link attributes here. And let's just take a look at one. So you can see that basically all I have here is whether to include the description and the title and what is the link type that's going to be generated or made when I set this integration link. So this list is based on what's specified for the workspace, which of course is scoped by what was specified at the server level. And this also is going to scope what project areas I can target. So because I'm setting this to implemented by, based on what's in the workspace, there are a subset of project areas, they are RTC project areas obviously, that are targeted by this link type. And so those will be the only ones that are possible to set for this integration link attribute. By comparison, of course, the requirements one has an elaborated by. So again, that is going to determine or scope what project areas will come up when I want to set that link attribute. But only partly, because the other piece of the equation will be the view definition. So when I look at defining the view, on the third page of the view definition, I can say what to allow or restrict from this view. Now here I haven't actually set anything, but for example, I could say from this particular view, the only kind of link that can be created, we already know that it's only implemented by, but we could say it's only to this particular project area. So we could actually scope that as well to say that, in this view, which is maybe it's a view of features for a particular organization, and then in that view, they are only allowed to target a smaller subset of project areas in RTC, whereas another view for a different organization can target a different set of project areas in RTC. And that, again, is controlled by this allow and restrict. And even though I've said that we allow all of these types of link types, in fact, it is controlled by what's in the attribute. Now, this view has both of those link type attributes in them. So I probably would want to allow the elaborated by as well as the implemented by for those project areas that make sense for this organization. And so that's the basic configuration setup that you need to do. From there, then you can start defining XPath value fetcher, business rules, or REST view commands, all of which rely on this integration link attribute as a kind of pointer to the correct artifact anchor, if you will, in the correct project area. So that's basically how you set up the basic configuration. Thanks for your time.